Well done for making it this far.
Well done for making it this far into my video. I am Couch Coop, and it is nice to be greeted with a British regional accent. This is an FPS roguelike, one of my favourite genres, made by one guy called Daniel. This means we're going to have some creative focus, and the game's aesthetic very much reminds me of Marathon. The less said about that, the better. Other FPS roguelikes that I still play: Gunfire Reborn, what a legendary title that is, and of course the absolutely stellar RoboQuest. I'm going to name 3 video games now that I feel are in this Void Breakers. Okay, you ready? Doom, yeah. Returnal, unbelievable. And the Cherry, Red Faction, Guerrilla. This game plays like a tech demo. My name is Couch Coop. Yeah, you said that, but I said it in Northern. They may not have understood. Bros, you ain't ready for this. I wasn't ready for this. I might have to put that sensitivity down a little bit. Freaking blistering action. Absolutely smooth and incredible. This game is still in preview, so there's only 3 biomes. It was literally released a couple of days ago. I imagine I will be coming back to it, and it is coming to PlayStation 5 before I receive a salty comment. Yes, Game Pass Day 1, and there is a demo available on Steam right now. Okay, as you can see, there's an emphasis on structure and the dilapidation of it, and preferably having an enemy underneath what you've just grenaded or blown up. This in turn sort of presents a weak status of the enemies. They go yellow. This is my Doom reference, you know, when they've got that blue hue around them and they're available for a glory kill and they spit out more reward. This is the same system. You get some health back if you can attack your enemy in its yellow status. There's a double jump, a dash, and a slide as long as the list of Black Ops 7 dislikes. It's also got quite a detailed loot and perk system, which I don't fully understand at this stage. It is a little bit like that system from Lost in Random, where you get a cube and it's got different sides to it and you lay them into a template and they open up better stuff if they're next to cooler stuff, if that makes sense. You also get the classic choice of 3 direction at the end of each bout in the chest, so you can choose a build, start going down certain avenues and promoting powers that you're a fan of. That first clip of my pistol penetrating masonry, for want of a better expression, was a perk. That standard pistol does not do that, so that gives you an example of how outlandish you can get things going. And that's kind of the Returnal reference for me, the reroll system on a lot of the stages and getting given that cool starter pistol. Some of the stages do throw anomalies at you, like low gravity, and there is like puzzle elements where you'll be warped into a room. There's no like switch annoying having to get a key, put it in a thing. This game very much knows its strength, which is running and gunning and destruction, not stopping, chaining things up and getting your weapon to superpower levels. It's also running surprisingly well on the old GTX 1660. I've got it at around medium, I've got VSync on, I think I'm getting the 60 frames. Just no complaints, absolute joy. When I fired this up, I was gobsmacked, and I checked out that Steam score sitting at 9 out of 10. Is that just for the demo? We do also have a control style, pick up objects and thrust them at the enemy. Now these can be explosive, normally they're quite mundane and they don't affect the structure damage. Your grenades and you're powered up weapon are kind of the only things that do that, which is cool. It doesn't mean that everything is crumbling as soon as you enter an arena. Battlefield 6. And notice we do have rail grinding both in the bouts and between the level traversal, which is straight out of RoboQuest and very welcome. I think you'll find that was straight out of Sunset Overdrive, which may be getting a remake, by the way. I think you'll find they took that out of Tony Hawk's, which has also been remade, by the way, link in description. In typical roguelike fashion, you also have choice at the end of a fight on what direction to go in, and it will give you hints. It might say there's a shop or a boss or one of these totems that rejigs your perk setup. The bosses are like these anomalies. They come in their souped up versions of the normal enemies, and they are quite difficult. The difficulty of this stage is kind of perfectly pitched for me. I wouldn't be surprised if it's ramped up a little bit. I've seen roguelikes massively change their difficulty the longer they're around. I think we might see some adjustment on that front, but that is all part of the process as far as I'm concerned. The freedom that you feel when you're not inside a building is phenomenal because of this slide and this double jump and the amazing rate that the game runs at. When you're inside buildings, it's even more incredible because everything's blowing up and dissipating around you, and you cannot be damaged yourself by any falling brickwork. What about bugs, Coop? Are there any bugs? Is it crashing? What's going on that front? Well, very few for me. I had a couple where the gun just wouldn't fire, but going into the pause menu sorted that out. It's a surprisingly intact piece of software considering it's supposed to be in its preview mode. I also feel that some of this bullet projectile style is a little bit Returnal-esque, and also some of the bosses sort of nod to quite familiar Housemarque behaviour, but that is nothing but a compliment. What about the weapons, Scoop? Are you stuck with a pistol for this entire game? No, you will not. There is a selection of 6, maybe 7. We'll look at the assault rifle in a second. The issue with me is that the sensitivity is so high, I'm fine with not aiming down the sights. And the pistol is quite one-shotty and powerful on that front. The rifle needs some aiming, and you need to get on top of this sensitivity issue, which I might look at. I think it's just me. I've been coming off a lot of other games, and it is quite a shock. You do also have an ability on X or square, and that is found during a run, and it could be quite a lot of different stuff. I've got like a huge area effect missile at one point, but then I picked up a very short range like electrical pulse, and those grenades are technically limitless. They're on a cooldown, so you can really be chuck happy, and I think that's obviously a deliberate maneuver because these things are what take down the structures, so you kind of always need them. Death just means that you carry over a lot of the collectibles that you would have got during that run. My only complaint about Death is the hub. The hub is hideous, and it's in a pit in the middle of the ground that you have to scramble out of. I wish it was a bit more attractive and a little bit more easier to run through. This is some boss footage. This is like a souped up version of those flying interceptor things. I was thinking if it's going to fall over, it's going to be now, and this game didn't drop hardly a frame during this extremely hectic fight. Here is some footage of me trying to control that assault rifle. That is unlocked with just 1 point which you get from your first boss, so it's pretty cool. It's there for the taking, and all you need to do is a couple of good runs and Bob's your uncle. The other guns look really interesting, and I want to save that for when I revisit this game on 9th gen console. That's my goal. It's going to look incredible. Will I be able to stay away from this Game Pass version in the meantime? I very much doubt it. It's super addictive, and I want to see more bosses, more powers, and more of these gorgeous levels and biomes. Have you played RoboQuest? If so, I want your thoughts in the comments about this, because Voidbreaker could be just as good, and that's a massive accolade. Only time will tell how this game ends up in its final version, but from what I'm seeing so far, absolutely fabulous first-person roguelike. My name was, of course, CouchCube. I will leave you with a bit of outro gameplay, and I will see you down there.